I'm Jim Lively. I'm one of the owners of the NeighborFood Market. My wife Kelly isn't here. She's working, which I really appreciate because she's really helping to keep this thing moving. Thanks everybody for coming. I'm just going to say a few words, and I do want to ask a few other people to talk because this effort has been so much a collaborative community effort, and there's just a lot of people, thankfully a few people here that have done a lot of work. There's a lot of others that have been a part of this as well. My family and I live about 2 miles away on Bow Road. Have lived there for 32 years, I think. And bought this property about 5 years ago. It's a 20-acre commercial piece in Casson Township, and it took us a little while to get around to the full, complete picture, but I think we have all the elements here. We have one daughter farming out front, which is the Lively Farm. We have our oldest daughter, Emily, and her family living in the back, operating the campground and a music event. I have a daughter, Marley, here with me, who's helping to now manage the market, and a fourth daughter who's slacking off in grad school at U of M. So we're a little disappointed, but you know, we tried to keep them all pretty close. All of these efforts are happening here together, but this most recent one is sort of the first retail-facing, public-facing opportunity for people to come in on a regular basis, not like the music events. So we're excited to be opening this market for a lot of reasons, and you're going to hear some of these from folks in Empire. But you know, Empire lost its grocery store a few years ago, and it's been a challenge, I know, for folks that are looking for fresh produce. And so this in part is an answer to that. And another thing it is an answer to all of the wonderful farming and food vendors in our community, that giving them a place to sell their wares, and also finally to just bring community together. So that's basically what the NeighborFood Market's about. We say it's neighbors growing food for neighbors, and we're just giving them a place to gather. I will say a little bit about my background is that I worked for about 22 years at Groundwork Center for Resilient Communities. Groundwork is very much about local food and farming. We spent a lot of time studying food systems and how to help local agriculture thrive. And one of the ideas that we had seen at Groundwork was this concept of the everyday farmers market and year-round farmers market. It was modeled in Ann Arbor by a market called Argus Farm Stop. So we're very much stealing and borrowing from the good folks at Argus, who have been very gracious in sharing all that they know about how to run a market. So I want to do just a few more thank yous. Of course, I mentioned my wife Kelly, but it all starts with my co-owner and my partner in life, Kelly Lively. And then I had some wonderful contractors. Let's just talk about the folks that did the actual work. TJ Brown and some other, I can't list them all, but a great crew of almost entirely great experiences with my contractors, which is, I'd say, pretty good. Really good support from local and county officials. I mean, I'll also say it wasn't always smooth, but appreciating the fact that we've had a lot of support from both the township and the county, and we're going to hear from them in a second. And then great support from the financial institutions that you got to have to make this stuff happen. So thank you, Honor Bank, and thank you, Venture North, oh, there they are, yay! So I'm going to ask those folks to speak. I also had a lot of support from some mentors, and it's really important if you're brand new in business like I am, that you have people that can help guide you along the way. The SCORE program, Service Corps of Retired Executives, part of the chamber, has been just invaluable. Jeff Hamilton, a neighbor, has been so supportive and helpful, which I really appreciate. MSU Product Center, Parker Jones, Wendy Whelan, super helpful. So those, and then I also was very fortunate to know Steve Nance, and know that Steve Nance retired from Oriana Food Co-op in Traverse City. So he had a little extra time on his hands, and I tried to take a little of that time and his expertise, which was also really valued. And then I had, of course, some really important professional help on marketing and tech support, including one of these guys behind the camera here, Bill Lotka, who's been a longtime friend and ally and a lot of work, but it was so nice to have Bill step up and help me with some of the elements, especially tech support. And May Steyer, there's May, helping with the communications. She's done just a great job of helping the online presence, as well as some of the things that you see as you walk into the market. It's just been great working with both of you, and I really appreciate it. But really, the biggest thank you goes to the community and the community support that we've seen, and it's pretty unbelievable. I want to talk about, we did a GoFundMe campaign in the spring as we were moving into really starting to do the construction, you know, and trying to think about how are we going to bring people to a neighbor food market. And one of the thoughts was, because I come from a nonprofit background, well, let's see if people want to get involved and actually financially support. And it was somewhat about the money, but it was a lot about just asking people to participate. I'd done a few GoFundMe campaigns before. This one blew me away. We ended up with over 180 people participating. We raised more than $25,000, which was our goal, which was amazing. But it really just identified and solidified the incredible support from this community. So you will see when you're in there, I hope you take a look. We have a thank you to our donors. If you are a donor, please make sure you get your coffee cup of appreciation, and we have other appreciations for our donors. But I'm telling you, the community support from that GoFundMe campaign was just really overwhelming, and told us a lot about the need and the appreciation for our farming community. So there's the community support. I've got to make sure I'm not and then basically just some neighbor volunteers. You talk about neighbors. Unbelievable. The people that are coming up here helping me put this place together, just saying, hey, I like what you're doing. Can I swing a hammer? Can I do something for you? Or I can put down pavers. So we have seen and met more of our neighbors that I didn't necessarily know, or maybe just knew in passing by waving, who are coming and hanging out here, which is, you know, exactly what we wanted, and it's happening before we really even did the grand opening. So there's one of them back there. Thank you, Bob DeCorn, Scott Gordon. I mean, the neighbors, again, just so gratifying to see those folks showing up. And then I guess I got to just end by, I mentioned Argus Farm Stop. I got to say just a little more about them because they have been so helpful to us. It's nice to have a model of a successful market to basically copy after. I mean, as I'll talk about in a second, we basically are just doing anything that, if we don't know what to do, what does Argus do? Because it's clearly worked for them. They've been super helpful. They're going to be here, I think, on Sunday to take a look at the market. I'm really appreciative of them. Of course, we're going to hear a little bit from some of our farms and our food vendors who are here today. The people that actually make the market work, which are the people growing the food and making the food that we're putting out to sell. I want to specifically call out Mel and Fell, Tim Griffith, Melanie Griffith. These guys have been the first ones in our kitchen, as well as Melissa Dow. She's our chocolatier, and you're going to get to see some of their product in a second. And then lastly, looking forward, I got to appreciate our staff. You know, you can't do this if you don't have people that will work here, and I was really lucky to have some good people raise their hand and say, hey, this looks cool, I want to work here. Especially lucky that one of them was my daughter and the other was her partner. So Marley Lively and Eric Petrangelo have stepped up as managers, store manager, produce manager, key roles that we need in this market to make sure that we're taking good care of the food and that we're taking care of the customers and presenting the food appropriately. So very lucky to have them. And then I've found more neighbors that want to work here. Elisa, thank you. Elisa came to me very early and said, I love what you're doing. I want to be a part of it. So yeah, we have a great staff, and I hope you come in and meet them often. So lastly, I'll just close again with the community. I mean, it's about the shoppers. We've actually been open at some level for almost a month, and we have seen so many neighbors coming in with no sign out. They're finding their way here and just being so supportive. So thank you to the shoppers, really appreciate. Now what I would like to do is ask a couple other people, just who I've already appreciated, but you, Greg Julian from Casson Township. Casson's, our local government is super important. I'd like to hear from you.
Well, congratulations, Jim, and your family, and to everybody that's put this together. It's a tremendous day here in Casson Township. And look at this, and to be able to be here to appreciate this type of business, we're fortunate. And Jim, is a hard worker, but he also is a smart worker. And I think that's the key in this society today and in the environment today, is to work smart and to be smart. And like I said, I've known Jim and worked together with him for years on many issues, and I appreciate being here. Again, more than that, I appreciate this for our community, for the neighborhood, Casson Township, Empire, the heart. This is the heart of Leelanau County. And thank you all for being here today, and I hope you get a tremendous amount of support. People want to know where the food comes from.
Yeah.
And this is a place you know that it's going to be healthy, local, and that's what we need to do to provide. And again, thank you.
Thanks,
I appreciate.
Greg.
My wife Molly Julian is here with me. She's been a tremendous support for this area of the county for me, and that helps me support the things that our businessmen and women need to have. So thank you,
Greg. Thanks.
Call me anytime.
All right,
You know
appreciate
that.
it. Township Supervisor, y'all. Very lucky to have him, and he's going to stay on, we hope. Gwen Allgaier from County Board. Like to have the county, township starts with local zoning. The county, honestly, lots of inspections, but truly appreciated that we have so much county expertise. So I'd like to hear from you a little bit, Gwen.
I'm just glad to see such a wonderful, wonderful neighborhood market where we can access local food and you can support the community. So this enriches all of us. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your work, all of you.
Thanks, Gwen. All right, also the business community, and specifically Empire Village, where we have several villages around us, but I mentioned earlier, Empire is kind of our anchor community, and we feel like kind of an obligation and a real interest to make sure that Empire has access to food. We're not in the village, but we feel that connection, and so I've asked Paul Skinner, a friend and the chamber president, to speak just a little about what this could mean for Empire.
Oh, good morning, everybody. Yes, I think all I can do is echo what's been said before, really. This is just a tremendous opportunity for the Empire area, Empire Township. Since the demise of the Deering's Market, it's been a little bit of a food desert out here, and then when they decided to redevelop the gas station, it became even more of a wasteland. So to have something like this right on our doorstep is a huge, huge benefit. And I just want to thank the Livelies for everything they've done, and wish them good luck. And we will help promote anything you need promoting, and we'll keep pushing you along.
Thank you, Paul.
Congratulations.
Thank
Well
you.
done.
Thank you. All right, as you probably know, you can't do this kind of thing without some financing. We've had great support. I'd love to hear a little bit from Honor Bank and then Venture North, because these guys were with me. Local banks, local financing institutions are really important. And Max, you've been very helpful all the way along.
Thank you, Jim. I'm honored to be here, no pun intended. Part of what makes being a part of a 107-year-old community financial institution so important and so fulfilling is projects like this. Being a banker, it's not about giant multi-million-dollar developments and that sort of thing. What it comes down to are the most important things in our communities, which are neighborhood markets like this. Reading the sign here while Jim was talking, rooted in community, cultivating connections. I think that basically sums it up. We couldn't be more proud to be part of this. Jim and his wife Kelly made this process a pleasure, and it's been amazing to watch this all come together. So thank you for allowing us to be a part of this, and congratulations.
Thank you, Max. All right, now I'd like to also introduce Venture North, which was actually our first lending institution, and more than that, Annie Olds, who's a friend and also a mentor, super helpful from the very beginning. Thank you, Annie. I'd like to appreciate you.
Thank you so much. This is really exciting to see. I've been working with Jim now on this project well over 2 years, and for those of you who don't know, Venture North is a mission lender. We work with small businesses just in the 10-county region, providing financing to businesses that might struggle getting loans from traditional banks or credit unions otherwise. And so when Jim first approached me about a loan for this project, he was having trouble with banks and credit unions because the vision wasn't totally clear. He wasn't quite sure where this was headed. So it was, the business model was hard to wrap your head around for a traditional bank to get behind it. So we've done a much smaller part of the financing project than Max did. And but I know it was an important part of kind of this prioritizing and figuring out what is this project going to be. So it was just exciting to work with that, to work with Jim on this. And yeah, it's
Here
just
we
a
are.
perfect example of what we're here for.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, the first one is always the most important. It was so helpful. Thank you, Annie. So, thanks. Now who I want to hear from a little bit is some farms, because this is very much about farms and farmers and their food. So I've invited a couple of farms who I've been pleased to work with, and I want to start with you, Austin. Austin Weed of Bluebird Farm and Gardens, just down the road here on Frederickson Road. We've worked together for a while.
We have. Good to see you. Can we get another round of applause for the Livelies, all the volunteers, everyone that
Hey, for the volunteers.
My partner Chelsea and I co-own and operate Bluebird Farm and Gardens, as Jem said, Frederickson Road and Empire. We're not from Leelanau County. We didn't grow up here. And since we purchased the farm in 2021, we've been really floored by the outpouring of support of this community, and what the Livelies and all of the people involved in this project have been able to do goes to show exactly how deep that community runs here. We've never felt unwelcome, and we are so excited that our friends, neighbors, and community members can come in here and really be a part of something bigger than us as individuals. So we're just so excited to be included. And on that note, I'm going to step away.
Well, his food is in there. Make sure you go take a look at some of the
Sure,
beautiful
yeah, and
veggies.
lots of other vendors here.
Yeah, lots of other vendors, right. Yeah, thank you, Austin. I think lastly, I want to end with another farm, Anna Very Fine Foods. I have Dave Waltz here. Adam Weinrich wasn't able to make it, but Anna Very has been a really important early vendor, and really appreciate you being here, Dave.
Hey everyone, thanks. My name is Dave Waltz. I'm the farm manager at Anna Very Fine Foods. And on behalf of Adam and Don Weinrich, who own Anna Very Fine Foods, I want to say thank you, Jim, so much for considering us as a vendor for your farm. We're proud to be an early supporter, bringing in fresh raised meat from our pastures to Lively NeighborFood market. And so a little bit about us. So we're a 78-acre regenerative, pasture-focused, sustainably minded livestock farm. We raise beef, pork, lamb, chickens, and eggs. And now we have a nice flower pasture in our front yard as well, where we're selling and growing really nice flowers. Our whole goal is to, create a better community through sustainable, delicious, and really well-raised animal protein. And so Adam and Don purchased 78 acres of land on Secor Road in Long Lake Township in 2019 with very little farming experience. I came on board a few years later with almost less farming experience, but between the group of us, we're trying really hard to better understand the best way to approach farming. And I think we're doing, after a lot of trial by learning, I think we're doing pretty darn well, and we're really proud to be to be a vendor here at the NeighborFood market. One of the things that we always say is strong communities come through strong local food systems, and having good local outlets where we can sell our products is the only reason we exist. Without markets like Jim's, there's no way that we could do what we do. Farming is incredibly difficult. Livestock farming is a 12-month a year, 24-hour-a-day sometimes job that doesn't care what the weather is. And so to have people that say, we like what you're doing, we like your food, and it's good, and we're selling it, it means a lot. And I think often about folks like Jim, when it's 20 degrees in January, dumping snow in a windstorm, and a calf just had a cow, or a calf was just born, in a blinding blizzard, which literally happened twice this year. And so I just want to thank you guys so much. This is really a great way to strengthen this community and to plug a big giant hole in the food desert that was Empire for a long time. And so we're just so proud to be here. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you haven't tried that meat, it's delicious, y'all. We got quite a bit in here. All right, I have one more group that I'd like you all to hear from. as I mentioned before, I did spend 20 some years in advocacy with the Groundwork Center, and so it was important to me to have my former colleagues here because they do a lot of this local food and farming work. So Megan McDermott, who is well, you're not the food and farming director anymore, she's the program director at Groundwork. Deputy, yes. Hi, Megan.
You've been doing stuff since you retired. Well, I just wanted to welcome you all here. I'm so excited. I've been here in many iterations of this, and this looks beautiful, Jim. I know you've been working hard and been using the shovel emoji on Flash, thinking of Lively out here, really putting in the work. I still can't believe you took this project on after all the hard work you put in for 20 some years. He's like, oh, we'll do a fun family project. Build a local food system in a food desert.
Wow.
With farm it, right? And bring your whole family in. It's incredible. So Groundwork works in energy, transportation, and food systems. Jim has been a key part of that for 20 years of the 25 that it's been around. And it's just remarkable to be here with you all right now. I think Jim and Kelly, and obviously his daughter Jane, have such a knowledge of not only what this community means, but what it needs, and have such a willingness to really put in the work. I mean, literally, this is blood, sweat, and tears, I'm sure. There were some scrapes and bruises along the way, right? Physical building to make something like this happen. And it's risky, it's hard. You put a lot of work into this, and to think that someone who had given so much to the community for so long could have easily said, you know what, I'm gonna sit back, it's time for other folks to take over. Instead said, you know what, I'm gonna do one of the hardest things there is. I'm gonna open a small grocery store in a rural area and source all local food and bring that to the community and have people really feel connected to the land and feel a sense of place. So I'm so excited to come out here every once in a while and get to see what this place does for Empire, because I just think it's such a beautiful project. It means so much for local food systems to have small local outlets like this. It means so much for growers, as you've heard from multiple folks, to have a market where it's not just their farm stand on the side of the road and you don't feel like you have to grow everything. You can grow a few things that you enjoy and you do well, because there's somewhere else where you can go and go grocery shopping and have a more broad experience. It's just really important to making it work, to making local accessible. This is the type of business we need, and it's not easy, so there aren't a lot of them. So I just admire so much all of what Jim has done and bringing his family in and people that are making this happen, because it's a beautiful thing.
All right, thank you, Megan. Appreciate that. All right, yay. Let's go in and check out the market. Just one last, the part about me doing all this, I will say the part I enjoy the most is getting to meet all the people that are coming in. Mostly, as Megan can attest, I mostly like to stand around the coffee pot at Groundwork, so I'm going to be standing around the coffee pot welcoming people for many more years. Looking forward to that. And I look forward to showing you all the food that we have in here. So with that, let's go on in. Yay! Come